Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Using Digital Archives for Research. As Sister Johnson said, this is a rabbit hole within a rabbit hole within a rabbit hole. But I'm hoping to show you tonight what some of the possibilities are, and would love to get some input from people that have used non-family search libraries for research. So let me put this into presentation mode. Let's see, I had to change to Google Slides at the last minute. So there we go. Okay. And I'm going to minimize that one all the way down here. So one of the questions you might be asking yourself, and I'm sorry, I'll move this down here as well, is why use a digital archive? So to give you some background on me, I am a lazy family historian. Anybody who knows me knows that I live in family search. Most of what I do on my family history can be done in family search. But you might be saying, well, why would I need a digital archive? As much as I love family search, I have to say it doesn't have everything. It has a lot, but it doesn't have everything. And so if you have a very specific research problem that family search isn't solving, and I do have some of those, they're my yellow highlight people in my records where I go, I'm gonna have to get back to them because family search didn't have anything. You might need to branch out to another archive. Digital archives do allow you to search for information from home, saving you time and money over visiting a number of physical libraries and organizations. So you can do a lot of your pre-work using digital archives, even if it's to see if they have a collection you might be interested in. You can even read books online for free, not only through Family Search digital archives, but through Google Books, through sites like archive.org. They have a number of digitized public domain books that include family histories, county histories, genealogies, things that may help you in your research and that the Family History Library doesn't have. Let's see. So I came across this quote when I was doing my research for this topic, and I thought it was very interesting. They said it's impossible to search archives and discover an individual from the past, but these technological advances have increased an individual's chance of discovery. And so if you think about it, it's kind of that chicken and egg. So pretty much what this is telling us is that we've always had the ability to discover someone from the past, but now that more and more items are becoming digitized, we have a better chance of finding somebody. And that person has a better chance of being discovered. And I am a firm believer, I have a very strong testimony that the people that want to be found help us in our research, and they help guide us to the resources that we need to find them. So I just thought that was a very interesting quote to put in mind why we would use a digital archive. So this is the clinical definition from Sam Houston State University Library. What is a digital archive? It is essentially a digital collection of documents. They've either been scanned or they're photographed or they were created digitally. And this archive is available to be searched and used by people through an internet connection. So just like you would have a physical archive somewhere, many physical archives are now going digital to increase their reach. So with all of that, where do you find digital archives? You're going to see a lot of the L word on this slide, libraries. Many libraries now are going digital. Sorry, it's bath time for my son and he's reminding me. So your libraries will often have digital archives, and many of them actually have archives that are specific for genealogy research. And so you want to check your public libraries, but not only that, university libraries often have specialized collections of materials that are useful for genealogists and family historians. They might be papers of somebody famous, they might be photographs, or they might be manuscript collections, especially in older areas, older universities. A lot of times they have a very history-focused collection. Your state libraries will have many genealogical materials that are available digitally. The Texas State Library and Archives is one of those, but every state has a state library system that has digitized documents that can be helpful in your research. National libraries. Now, some of the national libraries we have, obviously, the Library of Congress is our nation's official library. We also have the Smithsonian Library and the National Archives. But it's not just limited to the US. The British Library, the French libraries, almost every country has a national library that has some form of a digital collection that may be useful to a family historian. Genealogy societies now are building their own digital archives and digital collections. They take all of the information that they have in their physical location, and they're starting to digitize this. Now, the first 4 are free, generally to use. You might need to get a card. Genealogy Society websites may be paid. So you just have to keep that in mind, that you may have to become a member in order to use their collection. And along those same lines, private membership or specialty topic organizations, Daughter of the Utah Pioneers, Daughters of the American Revolution. There's a Pilgrim society out there that specializes in Mayflower Pilgrim information. Not that it relates to me, because my husband was not a pilgrim. He came from Wales, in fact. But they have some digitized collections as well. So you really want to think about the type of material you're looking for, and then start trying some of these archives to find it. So what can you find in a digital archive? This is not an exhaustive list by any means, but you can find not only physical, but digitized books, maps, photographs that people donate, newspapers and newspaper articles, journals, histories. And histories could be a family history, a county history, a state history, a history of a specific congregation, passenger lists, deeds. The sky's kind of the limit there. Another thing to look for in a digital archive are physical books that are available for interlibrary loan. So most libraries participate in interlibrary loan. There may be a small fee to cover the cost of shipping the book from one library to another, but unless it's a specialized book that the library restricts circulation on, many books are available through interlibrary loan. And so if you're doing research in another state and there may be a physical book that might have information that pertains to you, you can check with your local library to see if you could get that through an interlibrary loan by looking in their digital catalog or their archive. The other thing libraries often offer are database subscriptions. These may require a library card to be used, but you can get magazines, newspapers. There are many databases out there specific to family history that are often available through your public library and often from home, also through your state library. One thing that I found interesting in my research is many libraries on their digital archives collection also offer tutorials or YouTube videos or research guides. So they have material available to you that can help you either navigate their collection or learn how to do basic or advanced genealogy. And an overlooked function of libraries and digital archives is the Ask a Librarian service. Many of them have a form that you can fill in with your question, and a librarian will get back to you either through email or via phone. And most libraries offer this service free of charge. Ask us anything, ask a librarian, And you can say, do you have this in your collection? I'm looking for information on such and such, can you help me? And they're often willing to help. The rest of this, and this is where I'm going to hopefully make it a little bit more interactive, is let's talk about some examples and resources that are available to you in each different type of collection. The only one I didn't really have was kind of those specialized ones, but they're very similar to the Genealogy Society collections. So public libraries, I'm listing 4 here. This is, again, by no means an exhaustive list, but the Grapevine Public Library, if we click over to the link, so this is the Grapevine Public Library's genealogy page, and they talk about what they have in their collection. And so they have county histories, state and county records, passenger list military records, periodicals, genealogy books, microfilm, and city directories, which are also very useful to try and place an ancestor. They have access to a number of databases, and some of them can be accessed from home. So this one, the Grapevine Library doesn't really have a strong digital collection, but their information is very interesting. So you can see what they do have. This is also one that offers a YouTube video on their genealogy room. So if you were planning a trip, you could use this to prepare for your trip. So I don't know if anyone here has used the Grapevine Public Library. Most of the libraries in the Metroplex, and especially within the Hearst Stake boundaries, have pretty good genealogy materials, but not a lot of them available digitally. Now, the Dallas Public Library actually does have digital collections. You're going to find digital collections in the Houston Public Library, the Fort Worth Public Library. Most of your big city public libraries will have some level of a digital collection. So here they've got photographs, they've got maps, manuscripts, art. Interesting, you might find a portrait of an ancestor, you never know. And then it gives you more details about what's available and also has tutorials. Now, why do you think that maps or photographs or manuscripts would be important for your family history research?
This is Jim.
Mm-hmm.
On the maps, things right now aren't the way they were even 40 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And you might have an address and you could look people up and find out where they were 40 years ago, 60 years ago.
Exactly, and see how much that area changed.
Yeah.
And so if you were publishing a family history, or if you wanted to expand your memories on family search, having information like this is really helpful. Not only to place a person, but to see how things have changed. And the manuscript and archival collection, it's very interesting because they have a lot of things about theater. I mean, maybe your ancestor was mentioned in a program guide, or they were part of a amateur dramatic society, and you can flesh out a little bit more about who they were. And the same with art and the printed word. You can see. And again, this is why Sister Johnson mentioned at the beginning, it's kind of a broad topic, because I can't tell you tonight, well, if you go to this library, you're going to find your ancestor. What I can do is say, these libraries may have collections that can help you either fill in gaps or expand what you know about an ancestor and make them a little more real. Now, oops, I went too far. The Allen County Public Library. How many of you in here have heard of the Allen County Public Library? This is up in Indiana.
I've heard of it and always wanted to go there.
Yes.
Especially since that's just up the road from, well, it's about 4 hours away from where I lived.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And their claim to fame is they are the second largest genealogy library in the US. after, yes, the one in Salt Lake. But they have digital collections, and they have, I kind of listed here, not only do they have digital collections and a whole genealogy center, but they also have specialized information about Native American research, African American research, family history links. And so I'm going to be sharing this presentation with Sister Johnson after the call tonight, but I wanted to include some of these links so that you can see the scope of what they have. Now, they're known for a physical library, but they're starting to expand their digital collection. Minimize this back down again. And again, not all of these are going to apply, like, okay, the Dodge sign collection. Okay, that's kind of interesting, but what might be more interesting is the Fort Wayne and Allen County history, if you have ancestors from those areas. The photography collection. I love this, the Callan Weasley family postcards. And, you know, that may be one of your family names. That might be a collection that's worth looking into. The Lutheran Church scrapbook. You know, United Auto Workers newsletters. So there's a number of interesting collections here, and it goes on, you know, for pages and pages and pages. I'm jumping now to page 5, which is kind of the end of it. But the Wayne Knitting Mills newsletter, I would love to read through that one day. Who is a Hoosier? What makes Indiana great? So again, that historical context of the ancestors. So these are just some of the digital collections that they have. Some of them are newspapers. Some of them are Rotary Club. And so it always pays to browse a digital collection in a library where maybe your ancestors are from. You know, one of these days I need to kind of see what I can find on my ancestors in the Luck, Wisconsin, you know, library if they have a digital collection. But mine were more small town people, but if they come from a big city, these may help you find things that are just not in family search.
Can you hear me? This is
I can now. Hi, I can now, yes.
Oh, okay. They used to have what you call Percy, and you could send to the library. You could look at the Percy on these CDs, and then you could pick what you wanted to order, and you ordered it and paid for it, and they made a copy for you.
Right.
I heard several years ago that they were putting all of that online. Do you know anything about that?
Yes, I believe they are. So the Percy is the periodical source index, and a lot of that is going online or is in databases. I'm trying to find their search function. And
I was going to say, I wonder what program or how would you find it? Just Googling it or?
Yeah, I mean, I think Googling it, but a lot of that would probably be in the database collections of a library, because the periodical source index was used to help guide you to the right magazine set. And a lot of that's now digitized.
Okay.
So that's why I was looking to see if, let me see if I could find periodical source index and search that. Okay, here we go. Periodical source index. So this was, let's see. Let's just see what happens. This is the fun of a live demo. So this is something that they've got on microfiche. It's non-circulating, but you notice that they've got, this is at the Dallas Public Library.
Oh.
They've got that periodical source index starting from 1847. You know, for different, you know, different things. These are non-circulating, but if you go to their databases, where are your databases? Here we go. A lot of that now you can just kind of drill into yourself. So like, here's their genealogy databases. Some of them are online databases and required, like their newspaper archive. But I'm trying to remember what that database was called, where you could go and look at all the Oh, the magazines, newspapers, and journals. Here we go. Sorry, my husband has forgotten that I'm on, that I'm calling, or that I'm on the thing tonight. So I think this would be a good one for the Ask a Librarian about what to replace the periodical source index. Because I haven't used these in so long, but they definitely have a lot of databases around magazines.
Rachel and Virginia.
Yes.
I know somebody, Karen Jorgensen, uses or used to use Percy a lot, and I will get with her and let you know if it's still available. But
Thank
it'll
you.
be tomorrow, next day.
Yeah, it is really helpful. I mean, now they have digitized a lot of other things and newspapers and maybe even magazines, but it was just so good to search through the articles, and especially on a certain county that you were trying to get information from or whatever. And of course, this was way before Family Search. You know, I mean, it was before all of this got so big. So maybe they're not even thinking it's that important anymore, but sure was good.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. That was a great question. And so, you know, this was just their digital collections. If you go back to the Allen County, oh, if it's going to respond here. Are you responding to me? No, of course you're not. All right, so we'll go back to my backup. This is their Genealogy Center at the Allen County Public Library. And so they've got their own YouTube channel, which I highly recommend if you want to learn a lot about research. They have the Ask a Genealogy Librarian. And again, most libraries have that.
There's Percy right there.
Oh, there it is. Okay, very good. I'm going to open this up in a new tab. And so, you know, periodical source index, you can search by surname. You can narrow it down to specific countries. Then there's, you know, they've even got research techniques. You know, are you looking for a biography, cemeteries, census records, church records? I mean, you can pick what you want. So let's see, obituaries. And I wanted to search. And you can say, okay, I want to search for the USA. So I've got 320 articles. So there's different articles that you can just, you know, view online, or, you know, to give you the call center number. Yeah.
Wow.
Just, yeah. So
okay. That's wonderful.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, and this is all, again, this is all stuff. If you may not be able to get the actual resource, is that on my shoulder? You may not be able to get the actual resource online, but at least you can say, okay, I know this exists. And then you can go to your library and say, how can I get a copy of this? So, because it gives you all the information about the publisher, the periodical, you know, the year published, and again, you can go down many rabbit holes with this. So, okay, great. So that was Percy. So they have it. They have the, like I said, the African American Gateway, Native American Gateway, Discovering Your Ancestors. You know, they do webinars. They offer events. You know, planning your visit. They even tell you, if you want to come visit us, here's how to make the most of your visit here, and what their resources are. So, so obviously the Family History Archives. What I find is interesting is, you notice what the first two are. The Family Search Digital Library, which I think we've covered in a previous one, and then FamilySearch.org. But Internet Archive, I'm going to take a minute and show you guys this. I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but trying to be mindful of time. So, wait, where did the Internet Archive go? Okay, so Internet Archive is a collection of digital resources, and it used to be just like digitized books. They've really expanded now into video, audio, images, websites, and they are starting to almost act as a clearinghouse for a lot of these digital archives. The cool thing is with their books, there's books to borrow, and then there's open library, which is pretty much books you can read online for free. But you can really get into some fun, like I want to see, I don't know, what movies do they have? Okay, let me see what movies the Allen County Public Library has. Okay, well now I can go in and I can, see information about specialized topics that they offer, or I can dig into books, or I can look at it by year. I can look at it by, period or topic or subject. And you can get to videos, books, magazines, and this is all available to you online, which is pretty awesome. Okay, going down the rabbit hole. So I'm going to come back here. The Butler Public Library was just one that it was an example of a public library that's affiliated with a genealogy society. So when it comes up, so this is Wisconsin. My ancestors are from Wisconsin. And so they have an index to digital collections hosted by over 500 libraries. I thought that was pretty cool. And then they've also got sites on immigrants. They've got a link to Cindy's List, which is that could be a whole nother topic one night, is Cindy's List, and US Gen Web sites. But this, because it's affiliated with the Genealogy Society, it kind of links you off to other sources. And of course it doesn't, it's still loading. So we'll give it some time to load. Maybe go back to it. So that's public libraries. It's gonna have the range of libraries with very little digital information to libraries with a lot of digital collections and everything in between. So definitely, if you're researching in an area, see what local libraries are in that area and see what information they offer online, as well as what they might have available for an interlibrary loan. Okay, let's see if this ever came up. No, it didn't. So, okay, just close that down. I'm going to close some of these down just because I'm getting too much open. Okay, so university libraries. Now, I struggled a little bit with this one, but if you look at big, old universities, they're going to have some pretty interesting digital collections that may or may not be able to help you with your genealogy. So the Stephen F. Austin Digital Archives is one here in Texas. And they have, so it was kind of interesting. I thought this was really interesting. The collection of funeral home records from 1900 to 1957. Now, granted, this is Nacogdoches, but if your family's from Nacogdoches, you might be able to find records in here about deaths. East Texas cemeteries, and again, focused obviously in Nacogdoches, but they have quite a few George Foreman collection. So the sermons of George Foreman, kind of interesting. Some of them, again, are going to be more helpful than others, but this was a student newspaper. This is a historic village. So again, if you have relatives in the area of East Texas, Stephen F. Austin State University, you might be able to find some interesting information. Community collections, documents, photographs, and artifacts from community members that have donated that. So again, it always pays to browse. West Carolina University, again, I kind of just stumbled across this in my research. They actually link off to national and state archives and other libraries. So they don't really have a collection, but they have compiled links that might get you someplace else. Of course, we all are familiar with BYU's special collections, and I deliberately steered clear of the BYU Family History Library, but under their special collections with digital materials, you might be able to find pioneer journals. You might be able to find photographs, letters, prints. You can get them in different languages. And so there's different, there's the special collections and then the university archives. But you might want to search for Pioneer Journal and just see what happens. Okay, so there's John McEwen's diary, Thomas Vickers' journal, William David Lee Missionary Journal. So, you know, I might want to see, maybe I'm looking for one of my ancestors. Yeah, it says, okay. And one search tip, if you use quotes around your search terms, it should try to find that exact phrase. Okay. So I don't know that any of these really apply to him, but interesting. Try that one. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. So I'm not really finding anything, but these are different collections that you can use, obviously. And then branching out from the United States, I decided for grins to go to the Bodleian Library in Oxford and see what they have available in their digital collections. So again, this is a old university in a large area. And so they've got, you know, information on the colleges, they've got manuscripts, they've got just a wide range, not necessarily genealogy collected, but there are papers and there are maps and, you know, just those standard things. There are portraits and maps and atlases. You know, they have things that are in Hebrew, Armenian. So, I mean, photographs. It's kind of an interesting, you know, very eclectic collection, but don't discount the international libraries as well. Okay, moving on. I know that we're running short on time, but state libraries and archives. I just picked the Texas State Library and Archive, but again, everyone has one. Why are you not coming up for me? Interesting. Okay. It's going to be, oh, my Texas State Library is not working today. So Texas State Library. We'll just go into it this way. No, okay, apparently their site is down. So we'll skip that one, but let's try another. What's another state people are interested in?
Rachel, this is Virginia again.
Yeah.
You know, I'm trying to remember, it seems like it has the name Samuel in it, but there is a library either on the way to Houston or maybe it's in Austin or somewhere. I went to it once. It is a huge genealogy library. And I found a lot of information there.
Yes.
I'm going to have to find out and I'll get it back to Shirley.
Okay, yeah.
Because it's in Texas and it was really a good library.
Are you meaning Sam Rayburn?
No, that's up here, right? Up in the
Yeah, up in
area
your
or
neck of the
something.
woods.
Yeah, no, this is I'm pretty sure it's in Texas. Clayton,
Yeah.
there it is. There, you
Clayton.
had it right there. Clayton
Okay.
Library Center.
Okay, so
It is in Houston, but it's not in Houston. It's kind of outside Houston.
there we go. Clayton Library
But
Center.
it is really a good library.
Yeah, so let's see what their digital collections look like. Where's your website? Sorry, I took my contacts out because my eyes were getting tired, but my bifocal.
Yeah, nothing was digital back when I went to it.
Okay, I may be having some internet issues myself. Why is this down as well? Interesting. Okay, but it's houstonlibrary.org, so I'm going to pop this back on. I'll pop it into the chat and pop that in there.
The Clayton, yeah, Clayton.
Okay, and sorry, all right, I see a request for Pennsylvania or New Jersey. Okay, so let's come over here and let's do New Jersey State Library. Yeah, Rutgers, which was I think on my university one, they're affiliated with I think the New Jersey Historical Society. Okay, so it's not my internet. All right, so this is the New Jersey State Library. So they've got about the state library, services for libraries, talking books in Braille, research library. So let's see if they've got, just for grins. Oh, look, they've got some webinars, genealogy research stories. So let's see, let's search genealogy. Okay, so here's the research library. All right, research library spotlight, genealogy charts and family trees. Isn't that nice? Featured books, featured ebooks, electronic books, things you can read online. The social history of New Jersey asylums, you know, that may be useful depending on whether your ancestors needed that or not. Directories, featured ebooks. So this, oh, this one, that one's kind of cool. Proprietary and colonial New Jersey Research Program recap. Oh, wow. So these are videos. That's kind of cool. So you got your genealogy blog. So let's see what else we've got here. Okay, so that's what that is. The genealogy blog. And so the research library, research tools. So there's your databases, your electronic journals, how to request a book, how to get a library card, services for, you know, libraries, the public. So let's see what they do for the public. So you can contact them, you can go, you can borrow books, you can use their databases, you can explore their research guides. So they're going to have a research guide for genealogy, I think they said. And so they've got informational videos, they've got a list of the library resources and also the state archives. So let's see what their state archives have. And so there you go, there's a vital record example, vital records, newspapers. So it doesn't look like they've got a lot digitized, but again, a lot of good information to have. And a guide, online indexes to New Jersey vital records. So marriages, deaths, colonial marriage bonds. And then if you wanted to go to familysearch.org, it tells you what to use there, or ancestry.com, and reclaim the records. So pretty cool. But those are your state libraries. So I'm going to close a few of these down. And again, you never know what you're going to find, but there's always going to be something that can help. Now, with the national libraries, again, you're going to get a lot of collections. They're going to have some digital resources. So if we go to Library of Congress, digital collections, historic American newspapers, cities and towns, Civil War maps, you know, panoramic maps, county study or country studies, general maps, so yeah, a lot of maps, but you can also search by topic. So if you were interested in local history and folk life, you can see what they have for local history. So they've got a number of different collections that are available. And one of the ones I saw on the previous page, I saw a lot of, you know, there's liturgical collections, there's the Abraham Lincoln papers. Again, some of these may or may not apply to you for your genealogy research. Some of these I actually bookmarked for later because I thought this would be really cool to show my kids who are, oh good, you took your bath, good. So, you know, there's the web archive. So let's see what's in the web archive. So these are all things that you can view online. And again, it's alphabetical and it may or may not, you know, impact you, but it's worth checking those resources out. It also has a list to the state collections, which I thought was really helpful. So, for here, you can go to the Arkansas State Archives. You can go to the Butler Center for Arkansas Studies, the California Digital Library. So that might be a whole another place if you've got people in California to start, looking for resources. And all of that's available from one link on the Library of Congress site. The Smithsonian also had a number of digital collections and a genealogy research guide. So these are some of their subscription-based resources, but they also give you a number of other places to check for online archives, including Allen County Family History Library, things that we're probably familiar with, but Southern Oral History Program, resources and training on collecting and preserving oral histories. Again, you can learn a lot. They've got reference guides, just a whole bunch of resources here from the Smithsonian. Same with the National Archives. They've got a lot of helpful things. These are searchable databases, links to genealogy blogs, state archives, vital records, other resources and sites. So, the genealogy blogs that can help you learn how to do things better and point you to other resources. Same for the British Library, but let's flip over to Wales. The National Library of Wales, you can search their newspapers. So they have a lot of digitized newspapers. So if your ancestors came from Wales, like my husband's did, I might be able to find information about them in the Welsh newspapers, depending on how far back they go. And they've got, journals, they've got maps, and other resources.
Would these all be free if you go through this website?
Yes, all of their online resources are free. A lot of times the databases, they'll let you know if you have to apply for a card in order to use them. But a lot of digital resources are free.
So which one are you looking at now? Where did you come to the Wales one?
Oh, I looked for the National Library of Wales.
Oh, okay.
And so this is the, I'm not even going to try for Simru, the National Library of Wales. And so they talk about catalogs and searching, discover and learn. They do have some paid for services that they can do. But up at the top, there are tithe maps. And sorry, and then let me go back here. So you can might be able to find a place, a parish. I think, if I remember my geography correctly, my husband's family came from, I think it's up here, because they were in Fishguard. So it's somewhere up here. I get my geography a little confused, but maybe I want to search for Fishguard. It says, okay, great. What do you want to know about Fishguard? I can take a look at maps. I can see, I can search by the occupier. So if they were a big landlord, I might be able to find them, the landowner. What parish are they in? Let's look at, in Fishguard Parish, or maybe they were in St. David's, which is a smaller collection to search. And then I can see what they've got there. But yeah, these are all free to use. They're all digitized and available. So yeah, pretty cool.
Rachel, you had mentioned you might have to apply for a library card, and you might, but some libraries will accept your local card. If you have, your local public library, they may have an agreement with some of these others. Probably not in Wales, but
probably not in Wales would be my guess. I know I tried to get a British library card once and they really pushed back on me. There was like,
Oh,
you don't need that. I'm like, okay. Because they said pretty much everything I was interested in, I couldn't check out and I could just use the reading room for free. I was like, I guess they were trying to save themselves some time.
yeah.
But yeah, so, but I thought the newspapers was the most interesting, you know, and so, you know, if I wanted to search, you know, Pilgrim in the newspapers, you know, maybe there's something that comes up, maybe not. So Pilgrim Fathers. I did search. What was interesting is I did search earlier. So Mormon converts, insidious campaign feared. You know, granted, you know, you got to look at when this was, you know, 1919, but I thought that was really interesting. You know, Mormon immigrants, you know, the steamship Minnesota brought 600 recruits, you know, from, you know, mining districts. So if you have Mormon immigrants from Wales, they may be listed in the newspapers, you know, because obviously they were felt very strongly about some of this stuff, which I thought was interesting. All right, let's see what else we got. So other libraries and resources. Obviously, we've talked about the Family Search Digital Library. Now, the New England Historical Society, this is, I think, one where you actually have to have membership to search or to use a lot of their information. So when you look at access, okay, I want to look at open access. So they have some things that are open, including family and personal papers, Civil War manuscripts, the French and Indian War manuscripts, the Jewish Times, you know, the Jewish Heritage Center. These are more restricted. So you have to have a certain level of membership, and then you can request access to the Jewish Historical Center materials by filling in a guest form, it looks like. So I thought this was pretty well laid out, you know, for their digital library and archives. So you can browse what they have. And again, based on, you know, access levels, if you want things that are just free, you can browse that way. They've got some search tips and frequently asked questions, information about the library and using it. And I think this was the one that also had, like, they had a training material, but definitely a lot of very good information about New England. And it's all part of this bigger, you know, organization. And obviously the Jewish Heritage Center, so that's affiliated with the site that we just looked at. So you can do research there and look at their collections. And, you know, some may be, you know, online, some may be physical. And so it'll let you know, but that's a good resource if you're doing Jewish research. The Ohio Genealogical Society, I think we had, that's just another one that's got a large digital library. This is interesting too, because they have like digital yearbooks, which I thought was kind of cool. Granted, it's for a very specific high school, so it may or may not apply, but military history of Ohio, Knox County. Maybe you had somebody that served in the military from there and they might be listed. Newspaper abstracts, genealogy of John and Late Potter. So these are things that people have donated. And I love this last line. It pays to keep rechecking, doesn't it? Because they're always adding things. So they keep encouraging you to come back. So archive.org, we've talked about a little bit, but the other place that I thought was really interesting to look in is Google Books. So Google Books has millions of digitized books available. And I may want to type in, maybe I'm looking for, let's see, family history. Let's just see what it comes up with. So one thing with Google Books is it may show you a book that you can't see. because it is a copyrighted book. So what I do is I look for whatever offers me a full view, because I want to see the book online. And so it comes back, and you notice that a lot of these are older books because they're in the public domain or they've been donated. But oh, look, there's the Berry family history. And I can go into the Berry family history and I can actually download this PDF. And then once it's downloaded, I can search it. So if I'm searching for a specific name, but here's the index of names. Okay, I want to go to the index of names. And I can see if this person is mentioned in there. Maybe I'm related to an Aaron Berry. Okay, so it says, well, here's, Abraham Berry, and he was known as Squire Abe. So these are books people wrote and that somebody took the time to digitize. These may or may not be in the family search genealogy library. But the nice thing is, because you can get the PDF, you can actually use the Control F search function to find what you're looking for in the book. You can also use, their search function.
Rachel,
Huh?
in the Midwest, just before and just after 1900, it was very popular for them to write county histories, and they would be 800, 900 pages long. Many counties have those.
Mm-hmm.
And Google Books is one of the best places to find those county histories.
That's awesome. So let's see I wonder if we can find, let's come back here. Let's see. Upshur County history. That's Virginia. I forgot. I might have to say Upshur, Texas. Yeah, a history of Texas and Texans, and a couple of different volumes. Yeah, that's great. The history of Johnson County, a memorial and biographical history of Johnson County, Texas. So you're absolutely right. That's so cool. So again, Google Books. Like I said, what I would suggest is that you look for full view, because those are ones where you're going to be able to get the whole PDF file that you can download for free, and keep going, and use it for your own research whenever you like. US Gen Web and Texas Gen Web. So Sister Johnson, if you're looking for future topics, I would say that Cindy's list and US Gen Web are probably two really good topics that we won't have time to dig into tonight. But again, they show you, you can look at things by county, by the record, special projects, research, adopt a county. But I would say, let's look at counties. And I live in Wood County now. You guys live in Tarrant County. So we'll take a look at Tarrant because it comes up before Wood. And we can see the resources. So this is the Texas Gen website. There are some shortcuts, but you can look up cemeteries, census records, military records, general information. You can put a query in, you can search their website, see memorials. So if we go to cemeteries, so inscriptions, local cemeteries, you can start drilling down. It says, okay, you're looking for Hershey's Grapevine. Okay, well, here's the Bedford cemeteries, and you can see which ones are online. So Bedford Cemetery is online, and there's the photo inventory. Here's the inscription. And so again, these are just resources that are all available for you for free, that people have donated. I know we are at time, but I will stop sharing now and see if there's any questions. I know it was a lot.
That is a lot of information.
Yeah, and it was really just meant to kind of show you what possibilities are out there. And then that might help inspire some thought on
Mhm.
what you might do with it.
The church has missionaries in the state libraries in, I know in Houston and in Austin, that are digitizing the genealogy records in those. They have been for years, even in our the Dallas library.
Oh,
There
wow. That's awesome.
Missionaries over there that are digitizing all the books and stuff in the genealogy library there,
Yeah.
or the genealogy section anyway.
Yeah, and I mean, our libraries in the Hearst area have such a wealth of genealogy materials. I remember going into the Euless library and just pulling books at random off the shelf, and they were family histories people had written that are just there, but they're physical. So I'm glad that the missionaries are going in and helping to digitize all that, because it just increases the reach.
And
Yeah.
the library that you were talking about, we have missionaries that are digitizing there.
Oh, in Allen County Public Library? Makes sense.
So.
See, that's the mission I would want. Just let me go and work with materials all day. Don't make me talk to people.
Well, are there any questions?
Are you going to be sharing the PowerPoint also? Because that was pretty darn good too. That and you're talking. So
Thanks. I really tried to design it as a resource to kind of spark ideas. So yeah, I'm going to share it in PowerPoint and in PDF format.
Very well done.
Thank
Yes,
you.
very. Thank you so much for doing that.